Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, explored the hidden depths of the human psyche. He proposed groundbreaking theories that still spark debate today. One of his most controversial concepts is the death drive, also known as Thanatos. Freud introduced this concept in his 1920 work Beyond the Pleasure Principle.
Freud observed patients grappling with traumatic experiences. He noticed a compulsion to repeat these experiences even if they were painful.
This observation challenged his earlier theory of the pleasure principle. The pleasure principle suggested that humans are driven by the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. However, the repetition compulsion pointed to a force beyond pleasure.
This force, Freud argued, was the death drive. It's a drive inherent in all living organisms to return to an inorganic state. This state is characterized by the absence of tension, striving, and ultimately life itself.
The death drive represents a pull towards stillness, a regression to a pre-life state of non-existence. Freud's concept of the death drive was revolutionary and unsettling. It challenged the prevailing optimistic view of human nature. It suggested that beneath our conscious desire for life and happiness lies a darker, more primal urge. This urge is towards self-destruction and a return to the void. Freud didn't view the death drive as existing in isolation. He saw it as being in constant tension with another powerful drive, eros, the life instinct. Eros encompasses all the life-affirming drives. These include the drives for love, connection, creativity, and self-preservation. Eros and Thanatos, Freud argued, are engaged in a perpetual dance. They are two sides of the same coin, inseparable and always influencing each other. Eros propels us towards life, growth, and connection. Conversely, Thanatos pulls us towards death, destruction, and dissolution. This duality is evident in many aspects of human experience. We see it in the cycle of birth and death, creation and destruction. We see it in the conflicting desires within ourselves, the urge to build and the urge to tear down, the longing for connection and the fear of intimacy. Understanding the interplay between Eros and Thanatos is crucial for comprehending human behavior. It sheds light on our capacity for both great love and terrible violence. It also helps us understand the complexities of mental health and the challenges of living a meaningful life. The death drive, while often operating unconsciously, can manifest in various self-destructive behaviors. These behaviors can range from subtle to extreme, from procrastination and risk-taking to addiction and suicidal ideation.
One way the death drive can manifest is through addiction. Substance abuse can be seen as a way of numbing oneself to the pain of existence. It's a way of seeking oblivion and escaping the struggles of life. However, this pursuit of oblivion often leads to further suffering and self-destruction.
Another manifestation of the death drive is self-sabotage. This can take many forms, such as staying in unhealthy relationships, making poor career choices, or engaging in self-critical and negative self-talk. These behaviors, though seemingly irrational, can be understood as unconscious attempts to undermine one's own well-being.
The death drive can also manifest in more extreme forms of self-harm, such as cutting or suicidal thoughts. These behaviors, though often misunderstood, can be seen as desperate attempts to cope with overwhelming emotional pain. They are cries for help, signals that the individual is struggling to cope with the burdens of existence.
Freud's assertion that the aim of all life is death is perhaps his most controversial statement. It's a statement that can easily be misinterpreted as nihilistic or pessimistic. However, a deeper understanding of Freud's perspective reveals a more nuanced and even life-affirming perspective.
Freud wasn't suggesting that we should all strive to die as quickly as possible. Instead, he was pointing to the undeniable reality that death is the ultimate endpoint of life. This realization, rather than being morbid, can be liberating.
When we accept the inevitability of death, we are freed to live more fully in the present moment. We are less likely to be consumed by trivial worries and more likely to appreciate the preciousness of life. Death, in a sense, gives meaning to life.
Moreover, Freud's statement can be interpreted as a call to live authentically. If death is the ultimate equalizer, then the only thing that truly matters is how we choose to live our lives. We should strive to live in accordance with our values, pursue our passions, and make the most of the time we have.
Section 5. Creative destruction, the death drive's unexpected side. While the death drive is often associated with negative and destructive impulses, Freud also recognized its potential for creative expression.
He argued that the death drive, when channeled effectively, can be a powerful force for creation and transformation.
Art, for example, can be seen as a way of sublimating the death drive. Through art, we can explore our darkest fears and desires in a safe and controlled environment.
We can confront the inevitability of death and find beauty in impermanence.
Civilization itself, according to Freud, is a product of the sublimation of the death drive. By creating laws, social structures, and cultural norms, we are essentially channeling our aggressive and destructive impulses into more socially acceptable forms.
Even scientific advancements can be seen as a manifestation of the death drive. The drive to understand the world, to dissect it and break it down into its component parts, can be seen as a form of intellectual aggression. However, this aggression, when channeled constructively, can lead to groundbreaking discoveries and technological progress. Section 6. A delicate balance, Eros and Thanatos in harmony. Freud's concept of the death drive highlights the inherent duality of human nature. We are beings driven by both life-affirming and self-destructive impulses.
The key to psychological health, according to Freud, lies in finding a balance between these opposing forces. When Eros and Thanatos are in harmony, we experience a sense of well-being and fulfillment. We are able to form meaningful relationships, pursue our goals with passion, and contribute to the world in positive ways.
However, when this balance is disrupted, we can experience psychological distress. If the death drive becomes dominant, we may become self-destructive, withdrawn, or even suicidal. Conversely, if Eros is overly dominant, we may become reckless, impulsive, or engage in risky behaviors that ultimately threaten our well-being.
The goal is not to eliminate the death drive entirely. This is neither possible nor desirable. Instead, we should strive to integrate it into our personalities in a healthy and adaptive way. This involves acknowledging our own mortality, accepting our limitations, and finding constructive outlets for our aggressive and destructive impulses.
Section 7. Modern takes on Thanatos, beyond Freudian theory. Freud's concept of the death drive remains controversial and has been subject to much debate.
While some modern psychologists reject the concept outright, others have sought to refine and expand upon it. Some propose alternative explanations for behaviors Freud attributed to the death drive. Attachment theory suggests self-destructive behaviors may stem from early childhood experiences.
Others connect the death drive to recent concepts like terror management theory. This theory posits that awareness of mortality creates profound anxiety. We manage this by clinging to cultural beliefs that provide meaning and purpose. Section 8. The death drive in the 21st century, mental health implications. The concept of the death drive, though rooted in early 20th century psychoanalysis, remains relevant to contemporary mental health issues.
Modern life's rapid pace and constant connectivity can exacerbate inner conflicts. Anxiety, depression, and other mental health concerns reflect the struggle to find balance in an overwhelming world.
The pressure to succeed and constant information bombardment can lead to emptiness and a longing for escape. Self-destructive behaviors like addiction and self-harm suggest struggles to cope with modern life's challenges.
The death drive can lead individuals down a path of self-destruction. Understanding the death drive is essential for mental health professionals to help individuals develop healthier coping mechanisms.
Section 9. Freud's enduring legacy. The death drive's continued relevance. Freud's concept of the death drive, though controversial and often misunderstood, remains a powerful lens through which to view the complexities of human nature.
It reminds us that we are not simply rational beings driven by logic and self-interest. We are also driven by primal urges and unconscious desires that often defy easy explanation. The death drive challenges us to confront the darker aspects of ourselves. to acknowledge the shadow side of human nature.
It reminds us that destruction and creation are inextricably linked, that even in our darkest impulses lies the potential for transformation and growth. In a world grappling with unprecedented challenges, from climate change to political polarization to the rise of artificial intelligence, understanding the forces that drive human behavior has never been more crucial.
Freud's concept of the death drive, though developed over a century ago, offers valuable insights into the human condition that remain as relevant and thought-provoking today as they were when they were first introduced.